Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build this super simple Minecraft 1.17 starter house. So here is your materials list for the build. We'll start off at the top here with our cobblestone, and we're going to be mixing in some andesite to that as well, just to create a little bit of texture variation. And then we have all of our polished deep slate blocks that we're going to be using, followed by the deep slate tile blocks. And then just below that we have all of our brick variants, followed by all of the dark oak wood types that we're going to be using. And then just underneath that is the same but for the spruce variants. And then underneath that again we have our miscellaneous blocks such as chains, campfires, lanterns, glass, that sort of thing. You're also going to need 4 flowers, 3 to go on top of this coarse dirt and 1 to go inside of the flower pot. And lastly we just have the remaining blocks that are going to be helpful in survival. Once you've found a spot to start building in, the first thing we're going to do is place down 2 dark oak logs 3 blocks apart from each other. So 1, 2, 3. And this is where the doorway is going to be going, but just for now we're going to fill it all in with some polished deep slate. We can then come around to the left hand side of the house and go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 deep slate with another log at the back here. And then once again another 3 for the back of the house and another log on this one. And then we can have 2 deep slate blocks here and here, just coming in one diagonal from both of those logs, and then have another dark oak log in front of both of them, and then a final 3 across this side. So this is the layout of the house. And once you've got all that copied down, what you can then do for these 2 outer logs is bring them up by 2 more for a total of 3. And for the remaining 4, we're going to bring them up by 3 more blocks for a total of 4. So once you've got all that done, you should have something that looks like this. Next up, if you just come round to the left hand side of the build here, the 5 block stretch over this side, we're going to have a dark oak stair upside down on the top of those logs with 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 slabs in the middle. We can then come to either the front or the back, it doesn't really matter at this point, but we're going to have 2 upside down dark oak stairs on the top of those logs once again, with 2 regular ones coming out of the back of it just like so, and pretty much we're just going to staircase our way up until we eventually meet in the middle like so, where we're going to have another upside down stair, and you can just copy this round to the front as well. Now we can move around to the other side here, the one with the shorter logs, and what we're going to do is have 2 dark oak slabs just half a block downwards from these stairs, so just like that, and we can do the same over here too. And then we're going to have another couple of slabs in front of those logs, and then we can switch over to our dark oak trapdoors, and very simply we're just going to have one on top as well as in front. So just make sure this one is slightly lower and it doesn't look like that. So just have it slightly lower down there, and you can do the same over on this one too. And we're going to have a slab on top of those trapdoors, just make sure you're crouching while you do that, and then lastly a stair in the middle. The final thing to do for the roof outline is just come to roughly the center here. You may just have to pillar up with some temporary blocks like that. And all we're going to do is have a trapdoor on top of the upside down stair there, followed by a slab and then another trapdoor, and we're pretty much just alternating them until we get into the center here. So get ready your temporary blocks, and that's the roof outline all done. We can now start filling it in with some deep slate. Deep slate tiles to be specific, and we're going to come to this side over here and pretty much just add in a line of stairs going 7 blocks long on both of these spots right here. For the other side round here, we're going to start off doing a similar thing of just having a line of stairs across the top row, and then the row below that we're going to have 3 on either side and then leave a gap open in the middle to have a slab on the top of the block. Now what we can do is have a stair next to this bottom stair over here, followed by a slab that's on the top of the block right there, and then we're just going to have 2 more in front of it like so, with a stair in the center. So a quick update, this is what it should look like at the moment. What we're then going to do is have another slab on top of these logs, and then if we just come to this spot right here, have another slab on the back of the stair at the top with 2 more either side of it. So let's just take a step back and you can see what the finished roof looks like on this side. Before we start adding in some detail to the walls, we're just going to go ahead and fill it all in. So it's probably easiest if you step inside for this part, and what we're going to do is grab our spruce to begin with, and we're going to place 2 here, another 2 here, and then just fill in that spot. that's all the spruce done, and the rest can basically just become cobblestone. We are, like I said earlier, going to mix in some andesite just to get a little bit of texture, but for now we're just going to do plain old cobblestone and then add in the detail and come back afterwards and mix in a little bit of andesite. Before we start adding in the windows and the door and that sort of thing, there is one final thing we need to do with the roof. So we're going to come to this larger side over here and we're going to break away this block as well as this block, and we're going to replace them with 2 full brick blocks. We can then bring each of those up by an extra 2, so they are 3 high, and we're simply just going to make some chimneys out of these. So you want to place some campfires on top and then just place 4 spruce trapdoors around each of those campfires. So there we go, a smoking chimney. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be the front entranceway, so the first thing we're going to do is break these 2 blocks and replace it with our spruce door, and then we can just step inside real quick and break away this full block and replace it with an upside down stair, just making a bit of a smoother transition to the door from the inside. And now we can also go ahead and break this block in the middle here and replace it with a glass pane. And we're going to stick a spruce fence gate in front of it like so, open it on up, and then we're going to have a spruce trapdoor just above it. We can come back down to the main door here and have a polished deep slate wall either side of it like so, a spruce fence here and here with a slab in the middle just above the doorway, and then lastly 2 trapdoors either side of it. Moving on round to the left hand side here, we're going to go ahead and break these 6 cobblestone blocks and replace them with some glass panes. That way we get a big open window here, and in front of it we're going to have our coarse dirt and turn this into a flower bed by surrounding it with some spruce trapdoors, and of course our flower bed is going to need some flowers. As for the backside round here, we're going to go ahead and break away these 4 blocks, and at the bottom we're going to have a deep slate stair instead of a full block, and then in replace of the cobblestone we're going to have a big long window with some glass panes, and we're also going to have a spruce trapdoor just on the side of all of those blocks to make a big shutter here to, in theory, close it, even though you can't actually do that, it's just what it looks like. And then over on this block here we're going to have a chain with a lantern down below. And for the final section over here with the spruce, we're going to go ahead and get rid of these 3 blocks, have a polished deep slate stair at the bottom, an upside down spruce stair at the top with our glass pane in the middle, and then we can just stick a lantern underneath that stair. And then lastly, we're going to move around to this little spot over here. In the corner, we're going to have a barrel with a chest on top and a chest to the side, just for some outside storage. The very final thing to do for the exterior of the build is to mix in some of our andesite into this cobblestone, and I'd recommend just coming inside to do this. It's going to be a little bit easier. You can kind of see what you're doing a bit better, so just add as much or as little of this as you would like, just so we're not working with plain old cobblestone. And of course, you could always use some extra stone variants if you wanted to, but I'm just going to be keeping it to andesite and cobble. So there we go, that is the exterior of the build all done. Time to now head inside and start work there. First things first, we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of the blocks on the floor, including the one underneath the doorway here, which is going to pop off our spruce door, but we can just go ahead and place down a stripped dark oak log and place it back down. And all we're going to be doing with the floor is pretty much making a checkerboard pattern of sorts, alternating the rotation of these stripped dark oak logs. So as you can see here, the pattern we're working with is you simply just place it always on the side of the block, never on the front. So as you can see, just follow what I'm doing here and you should end up with a pretty funky floor pattern. Next up, we're going to grab our dark oak logs and just have a horizontal line of them coming all the way across like that. And then we can switch over to our spruce slabs where we're going to have 1, 2, and on this left hand side 1, just leave it open for now because we're actually going to be building our fireplace here to connect up to our chimney. So what we want to do is have 2 campfires here and here. Don't worry, it's not going to burn the house down. Campfires don't do that. But in front of them, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 brick walls. On top of this middle wall, we're going to have a slab, and on top of the outer ones, we're going to have a stair, facing like that. We're going to have 2 more slabs here and here, a full block on this spot, and a stair over here. That's not a stair, that's a slab. You want a stair, just like that. Now, of course, we're going to need some storage inside of our survival house, and we're going to be using barrels for that primarily. So we're going to start off with 5 upside down along the top here, and then we're going to have 5 facing horizontally on this side, and then just repeat it over here. So as you can see, that actually covers up the ceiling nicely, and we have plenty of storage here for all of our items. The last thing to do for this section is just place in 5 spruce trapdoors underneath those to look like some sort of shelves and support to hold them up. Over on the side with our big window here, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the 3 blocks above it as well as the 3 blocks below it. On the bottom, we're going to place in 2 furnaces and a blast furnace, and at the top here, we're just going to replace them with some upside down stairs. Basically doing what we did here for the spruce doorway, just making it a bit of a smoother transition. I think it looks a little bit better. But now what you can do over on the left hand side, next to the doorway here, is just have a fence with a lantern on top. Only a few more things left to add in before we are all done. The first one is going to be a bed. Any color you like is absolutely fine, just beside our fireplace here, and we're going to have a bit more storage just to the side of it with a barrel and a chest on top of it. We can then turn around over here to this corner to the left of the fireplace, and we're going to have a crafting table in the corner, a stone cutter just to the side of it, and then as a little bit of decoration, a flower pot with something to go inside of it on top of the crafting bench. So there we go, everybody. That is going to do it for today's tutorial. I really hope it's helped you out and that you enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for doing that, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.